What's good, family? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, hey, had to take a little break, man, handle some business, make some money, live my life and enjoy it, man. I hope y'all all been doing the same thing. Blessings to everybody. Now, listen, let me jump right into something. Just something I thought was interesting. I almost did a video the other day. I really didn't have time, but I'm going to make this one short, right to the point. Listen, Tay Jones is supposed to be doing an interview with Counterpunch Boxing Kurt DeVille. Good, beautiful, fine. Now, I look at this several ways, and we're going to have to either tune in to see the video, to see the interview, how it go, to know what's good. Okay, this is what I'm looking at, though. Okay, and for starters, now, Kurt DeVille, Counterpunch Boxing. The good thing about him doing this interview, okay, is because it's a non-LDBC channel. It's not going to be any bias. At least I'm hoping that's how it goes. That I believe he'll ask the questions that LDBC channels are not going to ask. Pretty much anything that they say or ask is going to be to point the finger, make blame on somebody else, and make Deontay Wilder the victim. And then they try to flip it around and make it seem like, oh, everybody hates Deontay, which if people did, then it is what it is. But it's not even about that. All these excuses, okay? All of these things that they come up with that Deontay don't even say. Now, we've been through all this before. But think about this, okay? For Kurt to ask him the questions, that's been going on forever. I don't see, and like I said, we'll have to see, but I don't see how this even makes sense. Now, if Kurt really asked him these questions, really, and I'm not saying like going in and try to make a fool out the guy and this and that, whatever, try to go in there and be disrespectful. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, for him, the same stuff that we all have been asking, okay? And basically get the answers. Not sit there and play neutral and just, well, this, that, and no. Because let me just be realistic. What does it matter what platform Tay Jones speaks on if he's just going to give more allegations? So this is why I'm saying we need to just check it out. I encourage you, let's watch the video and see what how it goes down. But what does it really mean if that's what happens? Because look, break it down like this. If Tay Jones is talking about the torn bicep, and he's talking about Deontay Wilder's mental state, if they start talking about Lance Pugmire's claims about him going through depression and all that, what does any of that have to do with what all of this initially didn't? This wasn't about that. You know what this was about initially? This was all about poisoned water. This was all about a heavy costume, weak legs. Okay? That's what this was all about. Tyson Fury was on something. Tyson Fury had a floppy glove. He had a loaded glove. He had an unpadded glove. That's what this was about. So does it make a difference if he does the interview on Counterpunch Boxing, Dante's Boxing Nation, Blue Blood, Sesame Street, across the street, Walmart, Target, Dunkin' Donuts? Does it matter where he does the interview? If somebody's not going to try to get to the bottom of all of this. But then think about it. If Tay Jones is going to sit and tell everything, tell all and get to the bottom of everything, then what big announcement is Deontay Wilder going to make? What evidence and proof? Because basically for me, see, this is what I said several videos ago. You see how they swung everything completely left field to get the attention off of what initially happened, to get us to this point to why we even cared about what was going on in Wilder's camp. Why? If he had a torn bicep, okay, that happens. So what? Was it against, I think it was Duhampas he fought. Might have even been Molina. I'm not sure. One of those guys. Somebody Deontay fought. And he said he broke his hand in the fight. Something he was like saying, oh, I don't care one hand. I'm a warrior. You already know me. I don't care one hand or whatever. Okay. Let's break this down, though. Deontay Wilder himself didn't come out and say anything about a torn bicep. Again, a sparring partner. Not Deontay, a sparring partner. My thing is, you are allowing people to talk for you. Tay Jones did an interview right from his house. He said, I'm right in the house with Deontay now. So Deontay is cool with what everybody's saying because he's right there. If you don't want something out, you know what you do? Hey, nobody talk about this. I don't care where you are. I don't care what media it is. We're not talking about it. Plain and simple. If I'm not talking, I don't want y'all to. It's simple. Done deal. Okay? This is like when a guy likes a woman and he doesn't know how to tell her. He's not sure how she might take it if she feels the same way about him. So instead of him telling her, he'll tell somebody that he knows conversates with her because he knows that person gonna go back and say, hey, guess who like you? Such and such told me blah, blah, blah. But now at least if she says she's not interested, well, he don't have to feel stupid because he didn't come to her himself. So he could turn around and say, oh, I never said that. Ah, man, he was just playing with you. I never told him anything. See, because he's worried about the feedback. Is it going to be in my favor or is it going to go against me? So, again, if he's going to talk about what is he going to say that we even care about? What is he going to say? This is why, like I'm saying, hey, let's watch the video. Let's just see. But at the same time, and because the biggest thing in this to me is the questions that Kurt's going to ask him. What are we going to get out of this that we don't already know? Because you know damn well he's not going to sit here and say anything that goes against Wilder or makes Wilder, looks bad or expose him or nothing like that. And the whole thing with me is not about, oh, let's get at Wilder. No. All of these allegations and excuses and lies have been told. Now, here we come with a torn bicep. If the bicep was torn, okay, before the fight, if you watch the fight, realistically, nothing looked like it was wrong with Deontay's arms or hands to me. He was punching with no problem. He just got his ass kicked. And basically, they're talking about, when have you ever seen Deontay go backwards? Yeah, well, Fury said he was going to come forward. He put all that weight on, and he fought a different fight. So let's not make it like, oh, it was just because Deontay, like Deontay fought the same fight and Fury fought the same fight. And even regardless of even if that would have been the case, but he was different. And he did what he said he was going to do. So all of a sudden, even for this to come up, what did Deontay Wilder say at the end of that fight? My legs is already weak coming into this fight, no excuses, but, had complications, but, no excuse, things happen sometimes. He ain't say nothing about his arm. If his arm was legit fucked up, let's be real. If his arm was legit fucked up, he couldn't say, hey, man, I came in with a torn bicep. Because at least he could prove that if that happened. But this whole, my costume was too heavy. And of course, people get amnesia. Now, all of a sudden, he never said it. Even though every channel you go to, somebody has videos in there of him saying it. At least now you can't find that one video. It was a phone video. It was a phone recorded video. It's not even up anymore. Or at least that part's not in it anymore. Everybody who heard it knows. Everybody knows the interview that was done was put all over. All platforms had that interview about the heavy costume. Did he once deny it? Did he say, Stephen A., why y'all lying on me? Skip Bayless, why y'all lying on me? Shannon Shaw, all you got, why y'all making up? I never said that. And the funny thing was, who did he do that interview with? I only leave that up to y'all. See if y'all figure that one out. I talked about it in a couple of videos before this one. He never said nothing about his arm. He only mentioned his legs. So even if, given the benefit of a doubt, even if he had a torn bicep, that had nothing, what did that have to do with everything else? See, it was a swerve when it was said, oh, every time Deontay says something, people misconstrue what he said. That's why he's being careful who he's talking to, even though he wasn't talking to nobody. And now check this out. Counterpunch boxing has nothing to do with the LDBC. You mean to tell me Tay Jones can do an interview with counterpunch boxing, but Deontay Wilder himself can't do an interview with Blue Blood or with Dante or 7-8 Sports with or Young Pharaoh or whoever? But all these guys that support him, they're fans of his. But you're allowing your people to speak for you. But you're not saying anything to nobody. So even the people talking about, oh, he's selective with who he's doing interviews with, why is he not doing interviews with you guys? Because like I said before, there's going to be questions asked that he's not going to want to answer. Just like Tyson Fury came out of his face and disrespected Deontay and said, next time it ain't going to be, he ain't got to worry about it because he's going to knock him a spark out next time. Laughed at him for having a dent in his head and all that. And basically, all these stories I've seen, more lies told on Deontay Wilder by Dylan White and Eddie Hearn and this one and that one. And everybody's just, for the guys that say, oh, y'all keep talking about Deontay. Yeah, look at all of the fanboy channels that keep talking about Deontay. For every 5 videos they make, at least 2 of them about Deontay Wilder and how he's been done wrong. And they keep saying the same things over and over. Now, if Deontay Wilder tore his bicep, that shit happens. Here's my thing. Like it was said, I had a conversation. I ain't trying to put nobody on blast. I'm just being real. In a text about, you see, the double standard shit. Because I can remember when AJ lost his fight and people were saying, oh, nah, man. He should have just, postponed the fight. He should have just postponed the fight. Reschedule it. You don't go in there injured. Okay. And it was text to me that, well, it was postponed because of COVID. COVID had postponed. So what? That's no excuse. COVID is still fights are being postponed. And basically, that fight itself has been pushed. It's not just so much the fighters don't want to fight or no. These promoters and the fighters themselves, you know how much money these guys are losing? Now, as a fan, the fight fans don't care. If they say, fuck it, we're going to fight in Walmart parking lot. The fans are like, all right, cool, we're going to be there. You know how much money these fighters are losing? The promoters, everybody. This is a business. You know how much, do y'all don't think that that's a factor? That, they don't want to see Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder in an empty arena. They don't want to see Tyson Fury versus AJ in an empty arena. Hell, they don't want to see Dylan White in Fury or Dylan White in Wilder in an empty arena. That's why they're trying to push as far as they can until it gets to the point where it's like, hey, look, you got to do it, crowd or no crowd. I mean, let's be real. AJ got 2 mandatories. Nothing's happened yet. If they can get those fights and they knew, okay, it won't be an empty arena. We're going to have a nice size crowd. It won't be the biggest crowd, but it's better than having an empty arena. They would settle for that. But let's be realistic about this, okay? I would not send my fighter into a fight with one arm. And to say, but Deontay didn't say it or his trainers didn't know, see, that's more fucking excuses. And not only that is it excuses, but whose problem is that? Just like AJ coming to make his USA debut, right? If he would have called that fight off, do you know how they would have crucified AJ? So regardless, these are the same people. They support one fighter one way, but then they try to crucify a fighter the other way. I'm not trying to crucify anybody. My whole thing is this. Why are we talking about a torn bicep? Why are we talking about his mental state? We're talking about all of this when those questions were never answered, like I said, about what the original claims were, and that was all of this cheating, dirty boxing, dirty fighting, dirty whatever. And the only thing that he managed to come out and say against another fighter was, I believe in glass. Against a guy who he's never fought, but the one that put the beating on him, beat the brakes off of him, he didn't respond to it all. Yet we're supposed to believe that, oh, nah, you know, he's just waiting for all this evidence that he's going to get Fury up out the sport. But yet it was he didn't want to. Listen, man, if somebody fought me and cheated, I would want that fight again because I'm going to beat your ass. Because this time you're going to fight fair. It's going to be clean. End of the day, man, he never said anything about his arm. It has nothing to do with the original claims. Catch y'all on the next one, family.